There's been a good deal of reporting about the sexual assault allegations surrounding Trump's Secretary of Defense pick, Pete Hegseth, who, as you may know, is eminently qualified to lead the Pentagon and 1.3 million active duty troops because of his brief stint serving in the Army and also hosting Fox and Friends on weekends. In October of 2017, Monterey police were contacted to investigate a sexual assault that allegedly took place several days earlier at the Hyatt Regency Hotel in Monterey and involved Hegseth. Hegseth's attorney, Timothy Parlatore, said that the allegations were completely false. Quote, "This was investigated by the police at the time and they found no evidence." Hegseth himself said this.
Take absolutely nothing for granted, and we welcome the opportunity to talk to any senator that wants to talk to us.
Did you sexually assault a woman in Monterey, California?
I have, as far as the media is concerned, I'll keep this very simple. The matter was fully investigated, and I was completely cleared, and that's where I'm going to leave it. Thank you very much.
Not for nothing, but "I was completely cleared" is not exactly the same as "I did not sexually assault that woman." But still, it seemed as if Hegseth was making it clear that the allegations against him are completely unfounded. Well, that narrative was summarily destroyed when the New York Times unearthed an email that was written from Hegseth's own mother to her son. "On behalf of all the women, and I know it's many, you have abused in some way, I say, get some help and take an honest look at yourself," Penelope Hegseth wrote, stating that she still loved him. She also wrote, "I have no respect for any man that belittles, lies, cheats, sleeps around, and uses women for his own power and ego. You are that man and have been for years. And as your mother, it pains me and embarrasses me to say that, but it is the sad, sad truth." And look, it's one thing for the right to claim that Hegseth is the victim of yet another liberal witch hunt at the hands of the evil communist Marxist Democrats. But what does the right say when it is literally Hegseth's own mother who made the claims? I presume that one of two things is going to happen. Either A, they'll ignore it and refuse to give it any oxygen, knowing full well that if it doesn't get airtime within the right-wing media bubble, then the vast majority of their audience won't even know that it exists. Or B, there also exists the possibility that they'll disavow her. Remember, the MAGAsphere doesn't tolerate dissent. Go ahead and ask yourself why Ronna McDaniel literally dropped Romney out of her last name. It is because Mitt was critical of dear leader Donald Trump, and so rather than stand up for her own uncle, her own family, she figured she would be better served by literally changing her name in deference to Trump over her own family. Straight to you from the party of family values. And by the way, the worst part, you know what Ronna McDaniel got in exchange for her blind fealty to the God King? She got blamed for Republicans' losses in 2022 and kicked out of her role as RNC chair. That is what loyalty in today's GOP gets you. Thrown under the bus the moment you lose your usefulness. I don't know which one is worse. All of these people contracting every ounce of their power and dignity to Trump, or them acting surprised when it ultimately counts for nothing. In fact, you know who's another good example of someone who is perfectly willing to contract her dignity out to Trump for nothing in return? Megyn Kelly, the woman who Trump said was bleeding out of her wherever when she was moderating a debate. And so, like any good Trump lackey, she's now using her platform to breathlessly defend Pete Hegseth even after his own mother called him out for his abuse, writing, "In case you missed it, Pete Hegseth's mom sent him a 'you are behaving very badly' email during his divorce. She's a good mom, and the New York Times is all in on it. Next we will hear from his aunt who accused him of being late in sending his thank you cards after Christmas 6 years ago." Sorry, but does Megyn Kelly seriously not know how to distinguish between a "you are behaving very badly" email with a "you should stop abusing women" email? At this point, what's become clear is that there is nothing that a Republican could do to lose the support of these hardline MAGA sycophants like Megyn Kelly. If a woman cannot disavow a man whose own mother called him out for being abusive to other women, then what's the bar? What would Hegseth have to do to lose the support of Megyn Kelly and these other MAGA Republicans? Here's the thing, Republicans are going to control the government. They're going to have quite a few votes to spare in the Senate. They should be able to confirm all the nominees they want. It's up to them, then, if they want to be represented by the worst that America has to offer. They have the ability to nominate someone capable and competent and smart. If they want to be represented, though, by a sexually abusive weekend TV host, that's on them. But it's a reflection of how they see themselves. If this is what they want in an ideal scenario, where they can have anyone, then that really does speak volumes about how the Republican Party views itself. That the best case, they want someone with zero experience who abuses women and has to be berated by his own mother as the result of it. That's not a reflection of anyone but today's Republican Party and the people who excuse it, like Megyn Kelly. And that's a point, by the way, that Amy Klobuchar made during our most recent interview.
I think the bigger issue here is that the Republicans have a small margin in the House. They have a margin big enough to confirm nominees in the Senate. We know that. They are going to have to make their own decisions about this. This isn't to say, Democrats are right now busy, despite some of our members losing. We're there night after night after night, confirming judges and doing our jobs. And now they're going to have a job to do. They're going to have to decide, are they just going to do everything Donald Trump wants and confirm the likes of Matt Gaetz, who eventually had to withdraw his name despite some of them and many of them saying they supported him? Yeah. Are they going to be able to do the job for the American people? Remember, what this is really about, we can talk all this inside Washington, is about getting things done to improve people's lives. It means bringing down the costs of prescription drugs and doing something when it comes to housing and childcare. All these things that a number of them talked about in their campaigns. And the way I look at this, even the nicest analysis of this, is that they are being just distracted and pulled aside by this clown car of things that are happening. And Donald Trump likes to run things with disruption, right? It's kind of catnip for people. And that's what he does. And he did it with Matt Gaetz. He's probably going to do it. We know he's doing it in the future with some of these nominees. And my hope and our job is just to get things done. We're doing this right now while we still control the U.S. Senate to the very last day. Senator Schumer and the rest of us are committed to getting things done. That includes a budget at the end of the year, getting some of these pieces of legislation, bipartisan legislation passed. We're just going to keep doing our jobs. Next year, same thing. And we're going to have to pick our fights because I think some of these people, as you saw from Matt Gaetz, we made our views clear. We weren't shy. We weren't hiding. Yeah. But in the end, they are going to have to decide whether or not they want to have people like Matt Gaetz even be nominated. Or are they going to spend their time running after that, spend day after day meeting with Matt Gaetz, or are they going to actually do the job and work with us on very clear things that need to happen in this country when it comes to economics? That's what the voters want. I know. I just won an election. I know where they are, and they don't want to spend their time swirling around trying to figure out whether or not an ethics report will be released. Let's put some competent people in these jobs.
And therein really lies the difference, because for most of us, we don't want to be represented by sexual deviants and predators and criminals and felons, even if we have the votes. It's not about whether we can, it's about whether we should. Republicans are proving that they're not able to distinguish between the two. So will Pete Hegseth face any obstacles among Republicans in the Senate when he's trying to be confirmed? Who knows? If these people were all willing to back Trump, someone who himself has a history of sexual abuse and harassment, then that probably doesn't bode well for them standing up to Pete Hegseth. But the point remains, it is up to them to decide how they want to be represented. If the best they can do for Secretary of Defense really is the weekend TV host with a history of sexual abuse and zero management experience, then that's them telling the American people exactly how little they think of themselves. Before you go, just a quick note, if you'd like to see more of my content, which is always free of advertising, sponsorships, and paywalls, please make sure to subscribe to this channel using the subscribe button right here on the screen. And if you'd like to support my work even further, you can grab a copy of my instant #1 New York Times selling book, Shameless, available for sale right now. That link is also on the screen. Thanks so much for watching.